in and out with no jail time. And my attorney turns to me and he says, it's a miracle that you're not being taken out in handcuffs right now. And the moment he said it's a miracle, I just felt this strong presence come over me in my heart and in my, just over my body, just heat. And I was like, man, that was God's hand moving in my life. So I knew that it was serious, that the words that I spoke and I said I'm gonna change, came into a whole different direction at that time. I came back home, I wanted to change my life. But, like everybody else knows, if you don't prepare to succeed in something, then you're preparing to fail, right? You guys probably heard that before? Well, I came home thinking I could still hang out with the friends, thinking I could still smoke and drink once in a while as long as I'm, trying to be positive. And I was out one night on a Friday night, and without me knowing, I'm having the time of my life, just partying, having fun, celebrating that I'm out of jail and out of prison and all this kind of stuff. God wasn't, I wasn't thinking about God at that time. And I'm out on this Friday night, and I didn't know that at my house, where my sister was sleeping in my bed, because I had that heated bed, that heated water bed that when it's cold, just keeps you warm. She came and slept in my room that night, and my house got shot up that night. Somebody who had known who I was, knew where I sleep, came and shot up my house, and all the bullets were directed towards my area of the house where my room was at. And she couldn't do nothing. Normally when something like that's going on, you get up, what you want to do? Run to your mom and dad's room? She couldn't do none of that because bullets were flying through the windows, and all she could do was cover her head and just roll off of the bed and hide and wait it out. There was 36 shell casings found the next day there when the police showed up. And I came home in the afternoon after everything had already happened. I come home and I see all these bullet holes in the house. I see the windows already boarded up. Our cars and our vehicles had holes in them. And I go and I try my key in the door to try to open the door at my parents' house, and my key didn't work no more. They had changed the lock, so I'm banging on the door, and my mom comes out, and I'm so scared, like I don't know what happened, and I'm looking at her like if I'm gonna get a hug or I was glad that she was okay. And I didn't get embraced with a hug, I got a big slap in the face. And then she began crying and telling me about how my negative choices and the lifestyle that I'm choosing to live is not only affecting me and taking me down, but I could have lost my baby sister at the same time. My choices, my actions could have caused me to lose somebody that I love, more than anything else in this world at that time. And it was a hard, cold slap in the face, but it woke me up to realize that I needed to change my lifestyle, I needed to change the friends, I needed to really look at my life and figure out what I gotta do. So the choices that came that day was I was completely done. I'm no longer gonna smoke weed, I'm no longer gonna drink, I'm not gonna hang out with these same friends anymore. Change my phone number so that these girls stop blowing up my phone, and get back into high school, and I want to get my high school diploma, because I had already dropped out. I go to school, the next day we want to talk to the counselors, ask them how I can graduate and get my diploma. They look at my records and they say, okay, you have a total of 3 credits and you're a senior. So either we could re-enroll you as a freshman halfway, and you go through the next 3.5 years of school, or you get your GED. And they didn't know, but my oldest cousin of my family, he was the oldest boy of all the grandchildren, and he passed away before he got his high school diploma. He was somebody who I looked up to. The things that he did, I was doing. And they didn't realize that now I'm the leader of my family, and I began seeing myself as a leader. So I thought to myself, if I just get my GED, that's like settling for the lowest standard possible. And I said, if I do that, then what everybody else is going to say? Well, Kenny just got his GED, so I'll just get my GED, no big deal. So I wanted to set a higher standard for my family. So I said, what do I got to do? I'm not getting my GED, what do I got to do? They said, well, you can go to school from this time to this time, then you can take online classes, and hopefully within 2 years to 3 years, you'll be able to graduate. I said, well, that's what we're going to do then. I went to school from about 7:30 in the morning to 6:30 at night, got out of school, took these big, huge books home, Up until that point, I had never read a book in my life, never finished a book, except, like I always say, Clifford the Big Red Dog. You remember that book that was about this thin as a kid? I read that book, but that was the only book I had ever read in my life. And I was intimidated, I was scared, I didn't know what I was gonna do or how I was gonna do it. But I began praying about it, I began setting goals and writing things down in my little notebook that I was gonna stay determined to accomplish this goal. I began writing in my doorway with a Sharpie marker saying high school diploma, success, just little motivational words. And every day I woke up, I seen that, and I knew exactly what I was doing that day. I knew what my purpose was for waking up. And a year and a half later, I made up those 22 credits, and I graduated, got my high school diploma. It was one of the proudest moments of my life because up until that point, I had never set a goal and stuck with it and accomplished anything to that point. I had an honor roll sticker when I was in 2nd grade, gave it to my mom, and she looked at me, and she was happy, she acted happy and proud, she put it on the car. Later on, she told me, I know you didn't earn that high school, that honor roll sticker. And she was right. I swiped it from some little kid when he wasn't looking in the classroom, because I wanted to make my mom proud. I wanted her to be proud of me that I did something right. And up until that point, I had never had that chance. So when I had this high school diploma in my hand, I took it to her, she began crying, I began crying, we hugged and embraced. That feeling of becoming successful, that feeling of having some of my family be proud and honored by me, was one of the best feelings in my life. Not only that, but to see myself that I could stick with something and accomplish it was one of the best feelings of my life. Better than any drug or any high that I had ever experienced. And I wanted to keep that feeling going. So from there, I started to say, man, I put my mind to this and I accomplished it. There's so much things I could do. I immediately wanted to get back into school and get that college education and play ball in high school and college. And I went out to the college and I told them what I could do and I told them how great of a player I was. And they asked me for my stats, my game film, my resume and things like that I've done. I had nothing like that, but I told them, man, but I'm a good player, you just gotta see me. They said, nah, we can't take that chance. So they turned me down. The next school, the next college, they turned me down. The third school, they turned me down. I didn't give up at that point. I didn't give up. There was one school left that was further away from my home. I went there, just so happened that he said, well, we got a scrimmage thing going on right now with some of the recruits that we got. Get out there and see what you can do. I go out there and I perform for them. I'm getting dunks, shooting threes. And right after that, they took me to the back office. They gave me a full scholarship for basketball. And I began training and working out with the team at that point. All summer long, I began to get exposed to what real training is like. I realized that I had never trained like this in my life. I never stretched. I never worked out on a daily basis. I wasn't in the gym shooting and doing all these things. How many of you guys stretch and work out on a daily basis? Raise your hand. You guys are the athletes, come on. You guys shy or you just really don't do it? So you really don't do it then. So basically, you guys are all, how many of you have dreams of going to college and playing sports? Raise your hand. So everybody that got their hands raised right now should be doing something on a daily basis, right? How many of you guys play video games or get on the internet on a daily basis? Raise your hand. I bet there's a lot more of you than that. So if you are really serious about taking your dreams into account and taking accountability of your time, you are real serious about your dreams and your goals, don't you think that you should be applying that time going towards something that's going to help you accomplish your goal or your dream? So that's what I had to realize at that point, and I began to take my time and spending it into perfecting my craft, which was basketball. I wanted to be faster, I wanted to be jumping high, I always had that ability to jump. But for the first time I realized what kind of training and hard work really goes into getting there to the next level. And a dunk contest came up called Hoop It Up. How many of you guys heard of Hoop It Up? Hoop It Up dunk contest came up. I went out there, shut it down. I won it with ease. I was going against the same guys who I've always beaten in my same city. But what happened is Shaquille O'Neal's cousin was there,